The pyramids of London stand tall. It's such a strange thing to say. Arabia has deprived us of a religion to call our own, and England has met France. What could possibly go wrong with this relationship? Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Civilization 6 in our first Controlled Chaos series, another Victoria. So we are still in... I mean, we've just met Korea, so that could lead to some interesting trade opportunities. Let me take a look at... Yeah, she doesn't have anything up yet. But I've got a lot of gold per turn coming in right now, and it's been really nice. But we're still in an early game, I don't want to say lull, but things are very calm. And it's such a fascinating contrast relative to what we experienced in Denial, which again was kind of the spiritual first series. It's like Series 0 in a way, because it was using a Leaderpass Leader, but I hadn't started this meta series yet.
How come men have to go into training to learn how?
Okay, so let me do a quick policy check and see if there's anything worth shifting to, because I'm going to be training settlers for the next little bit, so maybe I can do something else here. See, I love this mod that I'm using that just tells me outright this is going to give me another 4 gold per turn if I institute that. That's fantastic. I think I'm going to go for Veterancy. It's one of the ones I just unlocked. It gives me additional production towards both encampments and harbors, and I think that's the thing that I want most right now. We still want the production bonuses everywhere else, so let's see what we can get away with here. Ooh, interesting. Do I attempt this combat? I don't want this galley to die. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if it did. But it seems we have some barbarians giving us trouble out on the high seas. Not really on the high seas. On the shallow seas. But they're giving us trouble. Okay, so we've just finished military training. Drama and poetry has been boosted. I will get a governor title if I go for recorded history, but I'd rather unlock the theater square as soon as possible, please and thanks. New envoy? Ooh. Cities receive +1 production for every improved resource type. This is the Suzerain bonus for Johannesburg. +2 science from each great work of writing, +1 science from each relic and artifact. I kind of just like the production bonus, direction at the moment. Let's work towards that. And where is Johannesburg? All right. That actually kind of makes sense for us to work on them too. So, all right, we have 2 charges left here. We have a builder present for this city. Tell you what, let's improve that cattle first, I suppose. I think I'm going to come up here and start building this first triad of farms. Of course, the triad thing is not actually a bonus yet, but it's still something that I want to work on. All right, and we're going to start sending this scout toward this side of the continent and discovering what's going on over there. All right, so we can safely bring... I kind of, to tell you the truth, I want to put this scout over near France. I want to be scouting out more of that continent now that I know what's going on over there. I don't normally do that much with a scout, in terms of sending them over to another continent. That opportunity doesn't always present itself in the way that it's presenting itself now, so let's go for that. The granary is about to finish in London, and I'm going to start training a crap ton of settlers. Because that's what I want more than anything right now. It's just a bunch of settlers. Okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but you get what I mean. We need settlers, period. Alright, so unsurprisingly, the barbarian backed off. You know what? I'm going to back off too. I know I just wasted that turn. But I wanted to see where he went. And, I didn't like what I was looking at, so I'd rather keep my distance. Alright, got that pasture. Are you set to growth focus? Yes, you are. We want to make sure that city stays nice and big. Plymouth is about to grow, which is very useful. It's a desert city, so it's not very productive on its own. At least until we build Petra, Which, you know, we have some trees we can chop down to make that happen. Matter of fact, hang on. I can go ahead and purchase the tiles. Yeah, that might have been a bit overkill, but those are the tiles that I would use to chop down, you know, trees for production in order to get Petra. So might as well go ahead and ensure that Plymouth has both of those tiles. Plymouth is going to have this tile. That tile, not as guaranteed. Okay, so we are once again flirting with the Dark Age, and I don't like it. Let's see if we can avoid that. All right, now I do want to just improve that wheat tile for the pure food benefit. But I would also like to check out this. There are a few tiles of Terra Incognita left on this particular island. I can't wait to settle out here. It's one of the first things I'm going to do. I'm honestly kind of vibing to the music right now. Civ 6's soundtrack is just so extraordinary. It makes me happy. All right, so Settler's almost done, Granary's almost done, and Library is 2 turns from being done. Nice. All right, so Settler, where can you go and where should you go is the question. We've got a Plains Hills tile right here that would be... that would help make sure that we didn't have any unwanted expansion from either of our neighboring enemies, to be honest. Or not, they're friends right now. Looks like Sunduck might be the first person who's kind of unhappy with me, although Genghis Khan was unhappy with me earlier in the series, so... Did I not send you... Interesting. I sent a delegation right away. Apparently that didn't mean much. Sad day. Alright, so London can once again train something. Now the question is, do I need to train... Ooh, the Hanging Gardens haven't been built yet. Increases growth by 15% in all cities. Must be built next to a river. That's honestly kind of tempting. That's really tempting. If no one's built it yet, and it's going to be done in 5 turns, I would also get Era Score bonus for finishing it, which would lock in my normal age rather than giving us a Dark Age. And we might as well go Wonder Crazy, you know, in the beginning of the game while we have the opportunity to do so. Okay, so I'm going to buy this tile because I'm getting an absurd amount of gold per turn right now from some of the AI deals that I have going. And so I'm going to take advantage of that, and we're going to build it up there. And we are going to train settlers in other cities. I'm going to take 7 turns here, so I guess we won't train one in Plymouth, but we'll train one in Birmingham in just a second. No, not a library. I didn't actually mean to click that. Why don't we do... Let's do a monument just to lock in the loyalty bonus that the monument provides. And we're going to send this scout a little bit farther down here. By the way, I've gotten a few comments from community members who are not as familiar with Civilization, who were very cheekily commenting like, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm entertained. Please. Like, I actually enjoy this aspect, and like, I'm going to be getting back ahead of schedule with these series soon, so I won't necessarily respond like the next day like I can right now, because I'm not ahead of schedule on this series at the moment. I'm recording day to day. But if you have questions, or if there's something that, as someone who's watching, whether you own the game and are new to it, or you don't own the game and may or may not play it, like if you just want to know more about what's happening, obviously I try to clarify what I'm doing as I play, but like if there's something specific that I can tell you, please let me know. Like, I would love to fill in those gaps. But I can't always anticipate where they are or what they are. All right, so the library is done in Birmingham.
And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by.
So now we can build the harbor district, which, recall, we have a bonus through policy, which is boosting the production of those. We've already built an encampment district in London, absent those bonuses, but those bonuses would still work on anything we built in the encampment district. Also, doesn't the policy... Let's take a look at this. No, it's just production. I was about to ask, doesn't the policy also make them cheaper to purchase? I might be thinking of a later policy. I probably am. All right. I'm going to keep leaning... see, I want to unlock industry as soon as possible because this is another one of our game modes that we're using. It's not a mod, it's an official game mode. It's part of the core game, but we've turned it on for this series as part of Controlled Chaos, and I've done monopolies and corporations more than, Barbarian clans, but I don't think that I've actually finished a game. Now that I think about it, I don't know that I've finished a game of Civ 6 on or off the channel with, certainly not with those modes enabled on the channel, but like off the channel, I don't think I have either. Anyway, as I was about to say, let's go for shipbuilding. I'm going to keep leaning into the naval bias for now. And now we are going to build another settler. That is longer than I thought. Honestly, I'm glad that the Hanging Gardens is going to be built. Don't get me wrong. But it's taking longer than I thought. Alright, so now we have this triad of farms. The Hanging Gardens will be done in 4 turns. London is still on production focus. Just realized that. Which, that's fine. I just need to keep... Oh, lucky day. There was a goodie hut in the Terra Incognita. Holy crap. Alright, so on account of having so much... How much food do we bring in per turn now? Let's see. It's 7. So here's an explanation of a basic mechanic for those of you not familiar with it. Birmingham now has 6 populations. So the core tile is always being worked because we have a city there. But then notice that every tile, when I look at the population tab, the manage citizens tab, every tile has one of these icons over it. And I can manually control them if I want. But right now I'm using these buttons to tell the city what to focus on. And every tile has yields. So you have food yields and production yields. This is you can look at the tooltip, 3 food, 4 production tile, 2 horses per turn. So by working this tile, I get those yields. It's worked by 1 citizen. That's, all that needs to... Most tiles, unless it's a district, a specialty district, will only have 1 citizen working them. But essentially what that does is that every turn, those yields are granted. The more food you have per turn, the faster your cities grow. And because we have 6 citizens, you can see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're working the tiles that are most productive in terms of food. And I've made a lot of food tiles more productive in Birmingham as a result of the improvements that I've done with that builder. Like I built a farm on top of that wheat. I built pastures on top. Well, only 1 pasture. I can build another pasture here. And we can improve production by improving this stone resource here. So, focusing on that.
Impressionnant. Il semble que vos espions soient partout.
Oh, hi,
La
Catherine.
dame de compagnie serait ravie de les entretenir pendant la fête.
Ask me if I trust you. Go ahead, ask me. See what I say. Genghis is still over there acting friendly.
And all the men and women merely players.
All right, so now I have access to the Theater Square District, which is so we have 2 main branches of progress in the game, right? We have our technology progress and our cultural civics progress, which is something introduced in Civilization 6. Normally there's just the tech tree. And I'm hoping Civ 7 keeps the dual trees because I really enjoyed that aspect. And they always tried... So Firaxis has a 33-33-33 development model when they come up with a new civilization. They keep 33% of what works. They improve 33% of maybe what doesn't work. And, well, I'm not quite describing it correctly, but they look at the entire game and they decide on a third of it that they're keeping the same. They decide on a third of it that they are going to, improve, and then they come up with an entirely new third. So I'm hoping that they keep this change, even though it's recent, like in terms of series history, because I've enjoyed having the dual trees. And I'd be curious what other veteran Civ 6 players have to say about that, because I haven't been involved in a community discussion in that here or elsewhere in a really long time. And I'm curious what people's feelings are on it. I think it's been pretty popular. But anyway, as I was saying, we now have access to the culture equivalent of the campus district. So this is something that boosts science. I was trying to pull up yields there, but didn't work. All right, so now we're going to go for that. In 5 turns, we will have this governor title and be able to improve Magnus even further. Yeah, you know what? I need this city to grow as fast as possible because we need, to kind of compete with... I hate to say it because Jadwiga's our buddy, but we need to compete with her for, like, the amount of population that's living in this area so that her city doesn't get really big and start trying to convert any of ours. So that's going to be my focus. A free builder. That is a gift if I've ever seen one. All right, so we're going to hop across this channel here and hopefully it'll go okay. Wow, that builder came at a great time. I'm going to send them down to... Actually, no. Let's go ahead and build this mine in London. And also, let's... This is pretty good timing because I think I'll be able to use my galley. It's not in good shape. It's actually kind of injured. But I think I'm going to be able to use my galley to escort the scout across. I can't literally escort them, unfortunately. I can't put them in formation because they're both military-type units. But I can still protect it. All right, knowledge of apprenticeship has advanced considerably, with raw materials now coming in from a wide variety of mines. The need to better teach new craftsmen to use them is essential. Nice. I still wish that you could actually see the condition that you just fulfilled, whenever you get a boost. That would be nice, and you can't necessarily. All right, so we're 2 turns away from the Hanging Gardens being done. Doesn't look like anything's going to stop me, and that will lock in. We're 2 points away from avoiding a Dark Age. So building an old wonder. All right, someone's built the Mahabodhi Temple. That made me so nervous. Same thing happened with the pyramids. All right, so our friendship with Jadwiga has expired. Let's go ahead and redeclare that. All right, so she has accepted our friendship. Let's see if there's anything... All right, Korea still doesn't have anything up for trade. Ooh, France has dyes already. How the heck did you get dyes at 120 BC? Well, hang on, let me... Actually, wait, dyes are on the map. I'm thinking of a different... I can't remember which luxury resource I'm thinking of, but I'm thinking of a completely different one. Never mind. Ignore me. Just thinking out loud. And sometimes when I think out loud, I think incorrectly. And by sometimes, I mean often. So let's go for a watermill in Plymouth. There are other things that I want to build, for sure. Like, part of me wants to go ahead and build Petra, but we need the watermill first. The reason that we need the watermill first is that this is going to provide... Hang on. +1 food and +1 production to the city. And also bonus resources improved by farms gain +1 food each. Now, I don't think there are actually any bonus resources improvable by farms in Plymouth's territory, but still. We need that production point just to help build Petra. So in terms of those of you like understanding the yield mechanic for the very first time as I explain it, everything that you queue up for building in a city, it takes a certain number of turns to build, right? And that is determined by like an amount of production that it costs. So notice here that this library in Plymouth costs 60 production to build. Well, how much production is Plymouth putting out per turn? 9.8. So how many turns, roughly speaking, is it going to take to build this library? 6. And the game is actually rounding up a little bit. I would imagine, unless something changed here, if this really is only at 9.8, it would actually take 7 turns. So these are rough estimates sometimes. Or I guess all the time. But that's how that works. So Civ 6 is really just a board game in computer game form, and you're playing the board, which is, you have these places, you have these squares, these hexes on the map. Civ did used to use squares, but now it uses hexes. And you're just trying to get as many yields cranked up, per the needs of each city as you can through various means. All right, so Plymouth has been producing here for a while. Is this still the best trade route? Looks like it is. I'm going to continue trading with London. The reason we need a trade route with Plymouth, or from Plymouth to London, because that's how Plymouth is getting food. That's how the city's growing, because it's in the desert. It's taken a while. All right, let's go ahead and improve that. And now we've got that built. Interesting. I guess I will come down and improve that stone. I think that's one of the most important things that I could do. Oh, you know what? I can't actually go into deep water with this unit. I didn't think about that. Oops. I think there's still an option up here. Yep. There is a tile over here that I'm going to be able to come over and use for the purpose of getting over to this continent. So I'll be good. All right. We've completed some trading posts. So that's going to improve the, like, any trading between these cities now that a trading post exists in Plymouth. Let me see if I can remind myself, because that's one thing I don't pay attention to as much. Let me see if I can remind myself where in the interface that is displayed. Is there a trade lens, maybe? No? I know what the icon looks like, but it's not showing up on the screen. Maybe it'll show next turn because the trade, like, it's literally just been created. Or maybe I'm just overlooking it blatantly. That's possible. Trading posts. Yeah, there we go. So if you look at districts, buildings, wonders, and trading posts. And this is how they work. Extend your trade network and make it more lucrative with trading posts. A trading post is placed at a city once a trade route to or from that city successfully completes it. It belongs to the player that owned the trade route. Your trade routes can refuel their movement range in any city that has one of your trading posts, allowing them to reach further destinations. If the city belongs to another player, the trading post also makes the trade route more valuable, providing +1 gold for its income. So this doesn't make it more lucrative for me in terms of gold, because that has to be... Basically, we have to trade with other empires, and we have to complete trade routes. So I wanted to refresh my memory on this because, as I said, it's a mechanic that I don't pay attention to as often, and we're early in the meta series. I'm going to be building my knowledge of the game up even more. I mentioned during the In Denial series that this is like one of the games that I can genuinely say I got better at while the channel was offline than, you know, like relative to, say, The Long Dark or Stellaris, which I actually didn't play that much. So I think there are some things that I will do a better job of than I used to do, but there are also things that I still want to improve on.
The ascent to the highest story is by stairs, and at their side are water engines, by means of which persons, appointed expressly for the purpose, are continually employed in raising water from the Euphrates into the garden.
Can you imagine having that as a job? Like, you just have to continually bring water because, you know, there's no plumbing yet, so you just use manual labor. I mean, obviously that existed for a long time, you know, just to bring water to villages for, you know, for sustenance, so people had water to drink. But just imagine doing that just for the purpose of this beautiful, like, world wonder.
I cannot imagine any condition which would cause a ship to founder. Modern shipbuilding has gone beyond that.
I mean, just to be fancy. That's all you're doing it for. That's hilarious. All right, so now we can build the Colossus Wonder, which is also tempting. We can build a quadrireme, and all land units can embark. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start moving towards currency. Let's go for engineering, which will give us access to Machu Picchu, the aqueduct, and the catapult. London can build... I think I just want to trade, or build another settler. I mentioned building a crap ton, and I haven't actually built that many yet. Okay, so this scout's actually kind of trapped at the moment. Hey, Genghis. What would it take for you to open your borders? 1 gold? 1 gold, you sweetheart, you. Okay. All right, Genghis. All right. All right, now I can actually, go through his territory to get that scout out of the locked-in position that they're currently sitting in. All right, so an old world wonder has been completed. We gained +3 arrow score for that. We no longer are facing a dark age in 4 turns. Yay. I actually am very enthusiastic about that. All right, so you want some diplomatic favor. You want all of my diplomatic favor, but you're going to open your borders and give me 61 gold for it. Okay. Sure. I should have actually reduced that slightly. Should have taken only 60 from her. She would have liked me for that. Sean. Oh my god. Sean. What's wrong with me? I'm so sorry. I try not to talk over Sean because he... It's an old channel made at this point. But one does not simply interrupt Sean B. All right, so, the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, especially for a coastal city like London, that's going to be a wonder that I want to build. Very likely I'm going to get that built. Okay, so settlers trained in the city do not consume a population. Done. So we got that done just in time, and now when that settler finishes, London's population will not drop, which normally happens when you train a settler. And here we go, we're about to become the first ever suzerain of Johannesburg and gain this bonus. Cities receive +1 production for every improved resource type. So this is going to be a pretty big deal. As long as we're suzerain of this city-state, which is right here. We're the first in the world, gain some era score, that's nice. But that just gave extra production to all of our cities, which is really quite nice. I'm going to go ahead and tell London to shift back to food focus so that it can actually grow. Birmingham should have remained on food focus. I'm not sure why I took it off, maybe just while I was talking about yields. Plymouth definitely needs to be on food focus. But I think it's probably going to be time to build Petra. All right, so we've arrived here. There is going to be a little bit of loyalty pressure on this city, but this is a Plains Hills tile, and there's a lot nearby. Newcastle upon Tyne. Rebellion in 19 turns. Okay, so what can I do here? I'm going to move this warrior unit down, because having a unit in Newcastle upon Tyne will be one thing that helps with loyalty. I am going to exert some loyalty pressure on the city. That's one of the reasons the rebellion is 20 turns away. I'm going to see if I can just avoid, without doing a governor here, I'm going to see if I can just avoid this loyalty issue manually. I think I'm going to be able to. Oh, I can buy a monument because I'm getting so much gold per turn. There we go. That's one way to avoid it. Let's see. It still says 19 turns, but that might change as soon as... In 4 turns, we're going to have another population. That's how you can tell how soon it's going to change. Just that number there. So you have 1 population now. In 4 turns, we're going to have 1 more. So much of Civ 6 is being able to understand the information on the screen. So that's why I say, like, I invite questions for those of you less familiar with the game. Like, I'm happy to talk about that. It's actually funny. I was going back and looking at some of my old, like, promotion posts from old series, and on Civ Fanatics especially. And there's an older series from when I did a series as Phoenicia, a series called Carthage. It's a series that I didn't finish, honestly. I think it's the very last Civ series I did in the channel before the channel went dark. Somebody was saying, and it's ironic because I'm living up to it right now, somebody basically was like, dude, your gameplay's great, but you talk too much. It's like, well, yeah. Like, I'm engaging with an audience, and I want to explain what's going on, especially in early in a meta series like this, when we have a peaceful beginning. It gives me the opportunity to, be more contemplative and talk through what I'm doing, Ooh, there's a couple of really good spots here. Yeah, I think I might wait till next turn. Tell you what, let's go ahead and build... I think I just want to have a builder going here. Yeah, let's put you on production focus so that builder's done as soon as possible, because I want to be able to chop down those woods and then build a science district. Actually, no, because I just saw, yeah, I was going to do that. That's why I bought that tile. But then when I bought that tile, it showed this as an even better location for a campus because it's surrounded by mountains. It's also, it's amusing to me to have gotten that feedback because one of my influences early in the channel, someone that I got advice from a lot, or well, not a lot, but someone that I got advice from at a few key moments when I was getting started. All right, so your people settle too close. I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I'm going to gain some diplomatic favor for this. Yep, same there. Because I think my next settlements will be farther away from both of them. Ooh, new barbarian clan. Nice. Yeah, one of my earliest kind of... I wouldn't say he was an influence per se, like I wasn't modeling my channel after him, but I got some advice because of how successful he was. But it's Quill. And Quill was the person who said, dude, don't stop talking. You know? And I'm so glad for that advice because it helps you learn how to commentate well. And that's certainly a muscle that I've needed to work out since I've brought the channel back. But, okay. So this settler, this is going to be my first one that I send out. Let me see if I can find a spot that... All right, so that's going to give us access to turtles and more ivory. So yeah, that might be the next best location for me to go ahead and start from. Let's do that. Okay, another settler. Yeah, I kind of want to... There is a part of me that wants to do a builder, but let's go for another settler while we can. See, normally training a settler in London, the population would have just dropped to 5. But because we have Magnus in London, and because things are relatively calm... Actually, nothing to do with things being relatively calm, but because we have Magnus in London, and because we have him promoted with that second ability we just gave him, that population didn't drop, and now we're 1 turn away from London being a 7-citizen city. So we have a new barbarian encampment up here. Let's talk to them. So we can buy them off and keep them from attacking our cities. They'll eventually be a city-state, which, I don't know, I kind of want to clear them before they become a city-state, to be honest. That's cool that they popped up there, though. You've met a representative of the Muscat city-state. So that's our first economic city-state. So any envoys that I place here will bring in gold per turn. Not that we are hurting for gold per turn at all. We're not. Not even remotely. Okay, classical era ends in 1 turn. That's going to be a good stopping point. But before we get there, this is kind of a big deal. Tell you what, let me... There's a couple of really good candidates for harbor districts. Ooh, there's a +2 there. I didn't see that coming. I could also build a +2 here and then just have a... We could do a canal here. Yeah, I think that's what I would most prefer to do. I don't know. This isn't a coast, though. This is a lake. And so there are certain things that require... Yeah, I'm going to go here. Because I have some wonders I want to build in Birmingham. And while we're playing at King difficulty, this is going to be one of the series where we're able to go a little bit more wonder crazy. You have to be careful sacrificing the number of turns it takes to build a wonder, you know, just for the sake of building that wonder in higher difficulties. You really need to focus on things that will improve your game, you know, in terms of like, just like I said, improving yields of things. And you have to kind of... Wonders always do the same thing. Can they be contextually useful more so in one game than in another? Absolutely. Because every game is different. But wonders will always do the same thing. But they take a certain number of turns to do, sometimes more than 10. Often more than 10. And that's 10 turns that you could have built 2 or 3 other things that help you for the rest of the game in a more nuanced and effective way for that game, for that city. And also, the AI will probably beat you to them because they have lots of bonuses that help with production, wonders or not, in higher difficulties. And so it's wasteful in more than one way. I'm going to go ahead and build... I'm trying to think of where the best spot to place it would be. either here. It'll make, if I built a culture district in Plymouth, oh my God, that would be insane. That would be absolutely bonkers. Oh my God, you know what else? Hang on. Yeah, I'm realizing how perfect this is going to be. Let me go ahead. I'm going to place it right here. The culture district for Plymouth is going to be here. All right, now I do need to buy a builder, but we're not going to do that this turn because we need a builder to chop down those woods to get Petra built. Now Petra we can put on growth focus, or we can put Plymouth on growth focus, but it's not going to actually help. Or on production focus is what I meant to say. But it's not going to make an impact at the moment. I'm just going to, for those of you who don't know why Petra is such a big deal, you'll see when it finishes. I've spent a lot of time explaining yields this episode. When Petra's done, assuming we get it, you will see. That is a promise. You will see. Okay. I'm going to build another city here on this Plains Hills tile. I'm going to sacrifice those woods, which makes me a little bit sad. I'm going to keep looking around here, and let's go to the classical era before we wrap up. Oh, just kidding. We just left the classical era. Let's go. We just left the classical era. Wake up, Hadrian. Okay. Robert Heinlein. There was a Stellaris patch named Heinlein once. I've probably said that on the channel once or twice or 3 times over the years. All right, city losing loyalty. I know, I'm working on it. Rebellion in 29 turns. I think as soon as this warrior is in place, we'll be fine. The builder, also, as soon as we have another population, that's going to make things a lot better. All right, so dedication-wise, oh wow, Jadwiga, Sunduk, and Genghis Khan are all in golden ages. That's going to make life interesting. All right, so Exodus of the Evangelist, that was a completely wasted dedication bonus. Completely wasted. So let's go, because I know I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to be going crazy with new districts since I'm building so many cities. So let's go with Monumentality. And I will go ahead and use that as the stopping point. It is 80 AD. We've had the BC AD changeover, as Eddie Izzard would say. And we are 16 turns away from Petra being done, but it's not going to take 16 turns because we're going to chop down those woods and just chop off a bunch of those turns from that count. And then when Petra's done, you will see why it's such a big deal that we're going to have Petra in this city. Plymouth is going to be a beast of a city if Petra finishes. It'll probably be a beast anyway, but certainly if Petra is done. And then we're going to have some new cities starting on this set of islands in the next episode. And I think I'll probably train at least 1 or 2 more settlers on top of the one that's currently finishing in London, just to really get a good base going. But so far, this is a really chill, like I'm loving it. It's so different from In Denial, but it's a really chill beginning for the series. And at some point, one of these AI, we're playing on a difficulty where the AI does get aggressive. It's not very aggressive. You'll see a change when we go up to Emperor, but something's going to go down at some point, and it's probably going to be with Genghis, would be my guess. It could be with Jadwiga, but we're playing pretty nice with her, so hopefully, she won't be our first adversary. We'll have to see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.